is decent here. I'm trying to get it where it's like somewhat normal here. I don't feel like that's gonna look right. Let's try it like this. That's not gonna do it. Telling me to rotate the device. All right, I guess we are gonna have to do it like that. I hope that looks okay for people. If it doesn't, please let me know as you come in to the stream. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes, give everybody a chance to get in here. I had to redo this like 3 times. I accidentally deleted the original stream, and then I had two go up and they went down right away. So I've had all kinds of issues already. So just waiting for a couple people to come on in. If not, I'll just talk to myself for a few minutes and we'll upload this and go with that. Just going to give people about 4 or 5 minutes here to maybe come on in and we'll start talking. So we're going to talk Mariners, talk, any team in general. So just give it a couple minutes for people to come in. If you come in, just shoot me a comment. I'm going to look up the Fangraphs projected standings. So just going to give it to about 4 or 5 minutes here so we can get some people funneling in, especially since I botched the announcement of it. Hey, how's it going, WWE Phillies fan? Thanks for coming in, man. How you doing? Just giving a couple people a few minutes to come on in here. Um, just I kind of botched the initial stream here, so I'm just waiting for some people to funnel in. Gonna go over some baseball stuff. We'll talk about your Phillies. Good, good, man. That's awesome. They said thanks for stopping in. If you have any questions on anything about the Phillies, just let me know. I'm gonna go over the Fangraph standings here and talk about a few things. So I'm gonna go through that here. I'm just waiting for, like I said, a few more people to come on in. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. In just another minute, and I'll start getting into some stuff here. All right, so I'll get into it a little bit. Got one person in here. I'll take it and myself. More people come on in. Awesome. I'm just going to go over a little bit about some of the stuff I talked about in my, Mariners preseason video. And really what I talked. And this is for whoever wants to come in or just watch later. One thing I got into a little bit. I talked about that I thought they had a pretty good offseason. I got a little heat from a few people about that. And I just kind of want to address what my points were really in that video. And, you know, my main points in terms of with the Mariners mostly wasn't so much about anything. Um, I with a lot of people wish they had done a little bit more and been a little bit more active. Oh, we got someone else in the chat here. I can't see who it is, but welcome in. Whoever else popped in, appreciate it. I'm just kind of going in here. I'm just talking a little bit about the Mariners off season. Any questions or anything for me or anything you guys want to talk about, just throw it out there and I'll address it. I'm just going to start rambling here about the Mariners, but if you guys want to pop in with something else, just let me know and I'll talk about it. But hey Sam, how's it going, man? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. I know you want to talk some football, so if you got any questions, just let me know and we'll talk it. Um, but just kind of starting out talking about the Mariners here a little bit and the off season, like I said. And obviously, some of the points that people brought up to me, I got not ripped by that video, but I had a few people comment to me saying they had a terrible offseason. The Mariners did not do well this offseason. And I kind of wanted to just clarify, a couple things on that. And my main points, with the Mariners was really not so much that I wish they hadn't been more active in free agency. Hey, you okay here? Thanks for stopping in. Got a few people in here, appreciate it. But yeah, with the Mariners here, it was really just about um, like I said, not so much. I wish I've said this now 5 times. I wish they'd been more active in free agency. But Jerry Dipoto, the general manager, talked about it the other day that they didn't feel they need to make any big moves to make that next jump. And that's kind of where I am as well. If you look at the Seattle Mariners this offseason, yeah, they didn't make a lot of moves and make any free agent splashes, but the moves they did make, should be upgrades with Teoscar Hernandez and with Colton Wong. But it's also the development of players that they currently have for the Seattle Mariners is really the key. That next step for Julio Rodriguez we've talked about. The next step for Cal Raleigh. Remember Julio Rodriguez last season, struggled in April. So for him to get into May, June, July, August, and he heated up, and hopefully for him to take the next step and be that MVP candidate, I think is something they're looking at. The Mariners last year, Cal Raleigh, who had a monster season for them, he didn't step up until. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate. I don't know if that was for me, but I appreciate that. Thanks to everybody that's come in so far. Appreciate the nice comments. But Cal Raleigh didn't step up until June and really had a big season for the Mariners. So you get a full season from Cal. You get a full season, hopefully, from Julio as well. You're getting a full season from Luis Castillo for the Mariners, which they didn't have last year. He made 12, 13 starts versus the 34 they're going to get from him this season. That's going to be a big boost for them. So those are the things, in regards to the Mariners that I'm talking about, that you're going to look for them to get better. And you don't always have to get better in terms of the record to be in contention. Like, do I think they're going to go from 90 to 97 wins here? I don't necessarily think they're going to do that, but I do think that they're looking at that development of certain players to put them over the top mainly. You like I said, you look at the next step for Julio. You look at Luis Castillo getting a full season, Cal Raleigh, George Kirby wasn't up at the beginning of last year. He's going to get a full season in there. Another full season for Logan Gilbert, who's got, now has a full major league season under his belt. So that's really, I just wanted to address that right away. I just had a couple comments about that. So if you go back and watch this later, where I think the Mariners can make the leap. So I'm just going to kind of look through the standings here. It's awkward talking to one or two people on this, I'm not going to lie. But I'm just going to look through the Fangraphs projected standings here. See if more people pop in. If not, I'll probably just end it here. Looks like I got one in here now. So if you got any questions for me, just let it fly. Got the American League Zips projections up here. Zips through Fangraphs. Right. Oh, back to three now. So, okay, I've got three in here. So, anybody has any questions, just you guys fire away. Let me know. It's kind of, I don't really have anything set for this. Just if you guys want to talk football, baseball, I don't care. Just fire something in there and we can talk about it. I'm just going to, like I said, I'm looking at the Fangraphs projections here. For the Zips projections, I should say, for the American League East, we got four in here. Welcome. I didn't see who popped in, but welcome in. Appreciate it. Just talking baseball here. I'm looking over the Zips projected standings right now. American League East, Zips has the Yankees winning it at 89-73. Toronto a game back, 88 wins. Tampa's 3 back at 86. Baltimore's 9 back at 80. Seahawks quarterback, what they should do in the draft. Stick with Geno Smith. I'll get to, let me, yeah, you know what? I'll dive into that. We'll just kind of make this whatever you guys want to talk about. If anybody wants me to go through those Fangraph standings, just let me know. So Seahawks. So here I am, Mariners Chit Chat. We're talking Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks should re-sign Geno Smith, but for the right price. Geno's been in the league for 11 and 12 years and hasn't been a starter for many of them for a reason. Now, I don't think he was in a great situation in New York when he started with Rex Ryan and company there, so I think he was kind of in a tough spot to begin with, and never really got that second chance. But it's not just because of that. There's a reason Geno Smith has not started. He had a really, really good first half of the year where he was a legitimate MVP candidate. He started to tail off a little bit in the second half. He's still good, but his turnover-worthy plays were actually pretty high. Even if anybody goes back and looks, there was probably 5 or 6 passes that he had that could have been intercepted that weren't. I wouldn't go anything too extreme. I'd probably try to keep it at a 3-year deal. I'd be willing to go 32 to 33 million per year for that. I would, but I wouldn't want to go so much further if another team is willing to throw, a ton of money out there. There is reasons to think that drafting a quarterback is the way to go too. And a lot of it's going to depend on, I don't know what this front office thinks about the quarterbacks in the draft. Yeah, he did. I agree. He did fall off a little, but he's still good. Yeah, you just said it perfectly, Phillies fan. He was still solid, but was he good enough in that second half to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. Maybe with enough talent around him, like if he had the 2013 Seahawks, with the Legion of Boom, sure. Probably good enough to win a Super Bowl. But, I agree with that. And, look at the draft. And if this front office really likes a quarterback, I did actually a video on this. And if the front office really likes a quarterback, like let's say they think, C.J. Stroud is, the best, they think he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, then yeah, they should look at that and they should do that. So it's going to depend on that. I would look at bringing Geno back. I would give him something like a 2-3 year deal with maybe a club option after 2 years where he can get out of the contract if he does take a step back. It's a tough spot because Geno was good. And I hate to just let a good quarterback go because that's never smart either, especially with no compensation. But it's also a position where, I could be into looking at a quarterback. They're also in a tough spot at 5, as well. So, Sam, just looking over some of your comments here, he's getting all the way to the 5th pick so we can get a quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Yeah, possibly. That's going to be tough during the draft. And that's going to play a part in this too. How's that going to play out? Unfortunately, with Denver winning that last game of the season this year, it put Seattle from 3 to 5. 3, they were in prime position. 5's a little tricky because you could get some teams, trading up there. Would you saying no to re-signing Geno? Phillies fan, is that what you mean? Yeah, I totally, I understand that point of view. I completely get where people are coming from on that. It's a crapshoot a little bit in the draft, but it always is, and you've got to look to take that next step. So if you haven't watched my video, I actually did one talking about it, and I did lay out some reasons why drafting a quarterback, does make some sense for this team, to do that instead of re-signing Geno. But Sam, getting back to your point, it's, and I'm rambling here. I apologize if I start rambling. I'm really bad at it. I'll take 20 minutes to get to a point sometimes. But sitting at 5, you've got the Bears and Texans, Colts, and Cardinals in front of you. Now, the Cardinals, I almost guarantee, are not going to draft a quarterback. They have money invested in Kyler. Colts probably will. Um, the Texans could draft a quarterback. And now it always happens, but now there's talks about the Bears maybe trading Justin Fields. If new people are coming in, you're wondering why we're talking football. I'm just going with what people are bringing up in the chat. People want to hear football, we'll talk football. But now let's talk about the Bears maybe trading Justin Fields. So you might not get a quarterback at number 5 that you really like. It depends on who they like in the draft. Should we trade away DK? I would not trade away DK at this point. I think just what the team, they took the strides this year and were competitive. As I'm kicking my light around. This team was competitive. It was a playoff team. They show that they're not, in my opinion, far away from getting to that next level. They need help on the D line, Sam, as you said, for sure. So I wouldn't trade away DK. I actually wouldn't be totally shocked if they looked at trading Tyler Lockett. I actually think that's more of a feasible trade than DK. I think, you saw what DK did in that playoff game. They just signed him to the contract. Now, that could make him more tradable because he's signed long term. Tyler Lockett may actually make more sense to be traded. I don't think they should do that, but you could probably actually make a decent case of trading Tyler Lockett, whose skill set is one that, he's getting older. Just you saw last year, Tyler just would not take a hit. I don't blame him. But Tyler Lockett might be a guy that is someone that I could actually see Seattle trying to be savvy and trade away. They need D-line help. They need interior. Sam, I saw that you said they need D-line help. Absolutely. They need help all over the defense. They need help on the D-line. I'm not against another corner in the top, the 2 top picks they have in the first round, and pairing someone up with Tariq Woolen. One way to improve a pass rush is to improve the secondary play. So I am not at all against them drafting another corner, and hopefully that helps the pass rush. D lineman, interior, D-line, even outside edge, another edge rusher. They need help on the interior of the offensive line at guard and probably center as well. I'm not against drafting another wide receiver and possibly quarterback, depending on what they decide to do. There's a few people in here, Sam. I think WWE Phillies fan is still in here, and I think someone else is in here as well. It says there's 4 or 3. Yes, yeah, Phillies fans still in the house. But I think there's someone. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm the other one that's in here. I don't know. But yeah, they definitely need help on the D-line for sure. I think that was probably the most glaring weakness spot. You saw the physicality the 49ers had in the playoff game. They just kind of pushed the Seahawks around a little bit. Hey, Avatar Changer, how's it going, man? Welcome in. We got a Lions fan in the house here, so welcome in. We were going to talk baseball, and now we're talking football. So you guys got any questions, let me know. If you want me to go back into baseball, I totally will. I was just going over the Zips Fangraphs projections for the standings. No worries, man. I appreciate you stopping in. Go get your dinner, man. And thanks for all your comments and support, man. Really appreciate it. To everybody that's in here, I know you're all subs, so I really appreciate all your guys' help and support. Truly appreciate it. About the Hawks division. Yeah, sure. Definitely the Niners are the cream of the crop. The Rams definitely took a step back this year, and the Cardinals have a lot of rebuilding to do. The Rams are going to be interesting because it depends on what happens with Stafford, Aaron Donald. Sean McVay is coming back, so that's, excuse me, just grab a drink of water. Probably good news for them. They don't have to enter maybe a full rebuild, but you're good, man. Yeah, no problem. I don't know how long I'm going to do this for. I got to eat dinner too, so maybe like an hour of this. Yeah, I agree. Cardinals aren't winning. The Rams are going to be a wild card. I don't mean necessarily a wild card playoff team. I mean a wild card in general. Because does Stafford retire? Does Aaron Donald retire? If those guys retire, then Cooper Kupp may be on the trading block because I don't think he's going to want to come back to a team like that. And he's coming off a major injury, so that's going to be a question mark. Jalen Ramsey's on the trading block. I know the Lions, I think, have had some discussions, maybe just Lions fans I've seen talking about that. But so the Rams could, and they have no draft picks almost whatsoever. Their whole line is a mess. Welcome in. Got another person came in. Again, talking football right now. That's what the people have spoken. They want to hear football, so we'll talk football. So the Rams are really interesting. But if Stafford comes back and he's healthy, Aaron Donald comes back, Cooper Kupp is healthy, then they could be a team, with a good head coach like McVay that's back in the mix really quickly too. Cardinals are not good. But with that said, even with the Cardinals, you do have Kyler Murray, and I know he hasn't been great so far, but you do have a player that is very dynamic, and if you can get a good offensive coach in there and some better protection on the O line, they do have some players. It's not improbable that they bounce back and are at least a competitive football team. Not wild on the hire. Not Rams 9-8. Yeah, I think that's like fair. Let's see what they do in free agency and the draft first, but like I think that's like a pretty fair number for them. 9-8, I could definitely see them bouncing back. Really, to me, it depends. Like, does Stafford retire? Does Aaron Donald end up retiring? Stuff like that. Just going to depend. For the Cardinals, I'm surprised they went with Gannon as the head coach. I thought they'd go more offensive minded, but they just came off that with Cliff Kingsbury. What schedules aren't out yet, but we do know who the teams are playing. So, like the schedules, we don't know what weeks they're going to be playing, but we do know all the teams' opponents. So, I mean, yeah, it's early for record predictions, but that's what we're here for, just to have fun and talk about it. So, it's all good. But yeah, the Cardinals are going to be interesting. Seattle's got some work to do. They're a team that's probably going to be a regression candidate, honestly, because if Geno doesn't play like first half Geno, and the defense doesn't take some steps forward. But we'll be interested to see what Seattle does in free agency. They could address some of the D-line needs in free agency. You got guys like Hargrave from Philadelphia, Deron Payne from Washington if they decide to go in there, and stuff like that. The Niners are still the cream of the crop, but the Niners have question marks. We don't know who's going to be their quarterback week one. Brock Purdy's going to be out for a while. Do you think the Cardinals trade D-Hop? Christian, welcome in, man. Appreciate the comment. I'll say your picks for the season. For the Cardinals trading D-Hop, maybe. It wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I think they need, extra draft capital. They've definitely got – the Cardinals have a lot of issues on the O-line and the D-line. They need a lot of help. They're not that different from the Seahawks. Only difference for the Seahawks is the Seahawks got two great rookie tackles last year. They probably should. The only issue is going to be you're taking away the one weapon Kyler Murray has. But it's definitely something they should look at. I don't know what you'd get for D-Hop. He's a little older. He's dealt with some injuries, and then I know he's suspended for the first few games last year. I think the Cardinals are going to. The Cardinals are in a tough spot because they have a quarterback that they're paying a ton of money to. So when you have that quarterback, you're trying to win now, but they have a lot of holes, like I said, on the O-line, especially on the D-line. They need a lot of help. And then, J.J. Watt, one of their better players, retiring. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the new general manager and then Gannon in there at head coach. So a lot of interesting things. And like I said, going back to the Niners, I assume the Niners are going to roll with Trey Lance week one. I know it might sound crazy, but I think Jimmy G's gone. Purdy's going to be hurt. They invested a top 3 pick into Trey Lance. I just don't think you can walk away from a guy that and traded up to get him. Like, they didn't just draft him at 3. They traded picks to get Trey Lance. So I think they almost have to. He's made 2 or 3 starts. Seahawks win 11 games next year. The Seahawks are so hard to make a prediction on now because, like, and I love it, Sam. I hope that's the case. We just don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I mean, I hope so. It's so hard, though, before, especially with Seattle, with all the draft picks. And like you said, what are they going to do at quarterback? I think after free agency, we'll get a little better idea. This team does some weird things sometimes in Seattle. They've been known to lowball some guys sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Geno. And then what quarterback, if they let Geno walk, who do they get? I know Dave Canales just went to Tampa Bay as their offensive coordinator, going from Seattle, so that could be interesting. Does Geno go to Tampa Bay? The Bucs are in salary cap hell, though, unfortunately for them. So I don't know if they can be able to do that. They're probably going to have to be cutting guys. Now, I mean, if you all watch the New Orleans Saints, the salary cap doesn't really matter. But, that could be a spot for Geno. That's probably the most likely. And then maybe a team like Washington. That's the other thing I'd ask, too. Like, if Seattle doesn't sign Geno, who would? Seattle trade for a quarterback or draft one. I'm still in the camp of re-signing Geno Smith for the right deal. So I would say free agency. I would say if they don't do that, I would draft a quarterback. I don't want to start trading assets for guys. I mean, like because who's out there? You got Aaron Rodgers, who's got 1 or 2 years left. Which yeah, that would be fine. But even then, you're still gonna need that help on the defense, and then they can do that with free agency and with the draft. But if you get Rodgers, there goes some of your draft picks. Justin Fields would be kind of intriguing. I'm not going to lie. 1-16, but for Sox fans, yeah, it's just hard to say. Like, and I try to be unbiased with the Hawks as much as possible. I hope you guys see that, but there's just so much questions with this team right now. Yeah, I honestly like if you have to franchise Geno for a year, that would, and I don't know if he'd play. I think he'd have to play on the franchise tag and do that. But going back to Phillies fan, I'd rather draft. Christian Seahawks salary cap situation. They're pretty good. I think they've got like they're like top 10 in cap space. But, that depends on what they do with Geno. That's going to take up a huge chunk of that, re-signing Geno. They're one of those teams that looks like they have a ton of space, but it's not as much as you think once the Geno. Now, if Geno walks, then they've got all the money in the world. But now you run into the problem of like, yeah, you can go sign Deron Payne. You can go sign Hargrave. You can go sign, like the Bucks probably going to cut Levante David. Oh, awesome, man. Cool. Welcome in, man. Awesome. Glad she let you do that. So you could go do all those things, but then that quarterback has to hit in the draft. So, but Seattle's in pretty good cap space. They've got enough where they can make some moves and get some of their own guys locked up. And they've got some decent cut candidates too, like Gabe Jackson will be cut. I would think on the D line, gosh, Brian Monet is a cut candidate. Who's the one? Quentin Jefferson is a pretty obvious cut candidate. And then you could save a pretty penny by moving on from Jamal Adams as well, which I think the Seahawks may do. It's just been, too. It's just been the injury missed all of last year. Just hasn't played enough. It's a shame because I think they had some plans for Jamal Adams last year. But yeah, I think Jamal Adams might be cutting it. So long answer to your question, Christian. They're good in terms of cap space. Yeah, D line, Sam. Yeah, I mean, really, it is. They just as much as they can do on the D line is certainly preferable. Got another person in here. Welcome in. We're talking football. Like I said, the people have demanded football, so we're talking football. Let me know what you guys want to talk about next. Just keep firing questions. I enjoy just hanging out and chatting with you guys. So. Whatever you guys want to talk about next. Now you got me all in football. I'm all out of baseball mode. Seems like this is more of a. I think my subs are more of a football crowd, anyways. But definitely be doing some live streams for baseball season. Yeah. Do you think the Lions reached? You know what's funny? Avatar. If you watch my Seahawks kind of free agency primer, I mentioned Williams as a guy I wouldn't mind Seattle. Being interested in. He had a great season. I would think the Lions would want to bring him back. You saw how emotional he was about beating Green Bay in that last game of the season, which thank you guys again for that. But so I think they absolutely should. It's tough. It just depends on what he, kind of contract he, yeah, I agree, Sam. What kind of contract he demands. Running backs are tough because they live fast and they die young. I mean, it's just they take so many hits, so many carries. But Williams is a guy that, doesn't have a lot of miles on those legs. So, yeah, I definitely would. But he's a guy that actually, like I said, I talked about Seattle maybe having some interest in. So, definitely a really good player I think the Lions should bring back for sure. The Lions definitely have some major upside this season. Even their defense, which started the year shaky, played so much better with Hutchinson, Houston on the D-line. They've got some good good secondary guys as well. Sam asked, what team should we be scared of for next year? I mean, there's the usual suspects. The Eagles are still going to be uber talented. And I'm assuming you mean NFC. I mean, so yeah, the Eagles for sure. Dallas will still probably be good, but Dak is just such a turnover machine that it's hard for them. The Niners are still going to be good. A sleeper team for me, two of them. Detroit is one. This is my first time ever going live, actually, Christian. Appreciate the question. The Panthers are a sleeper team for me, believe it or not. They're in a weak division that I think they're going to win. They're solid on the D-line and the O-line. They've got a good running game. They've now added an offensive-minded coach that can find a quarterback to get in there. that he can help develop a little bit, and Frank Reich. Now, they obviously have a question mark at quarterback, but they might be a team that drafts one. They could be someone that's interested in maybe a Derek Carr. They could maybe even roll with Sam Darnold another year. I don't know. I'll try. I'll go live as much as I can. I work all day tomorrow, but I will try and do it. But yeah, the Panthers, I think, are going to be a sneaky. Yeah, agreed, Phillies fan. They just need a quarterback. That's going to be a sneaky team next year. And then there's the usual suspects. Like I said, the Eagles, the Niners, and then the Chiefs are still going to be good. I think the Bills will be good. The Bengals, if Tua can stay healthy, I think the Dolphins. But in terms of sleeper teams, I like the Lions, I like the Panthers. Um, um, Trying to think who else. I'm trying to think of the AFC sleeper teams. Jacksonville's got a pretty good young team. Um, um, it depends on, Houston gets a young stud quarterback in there. That's the thing, too. You never know. I mean, if Houston gets their Patrick Mahomes, then, who knows? So those are just some teams I would definitely watch out for next season for sure. Yeah, Rams. I don't know. I'm not as big on the Rams. I got to be honest. They just don't have. They have bad cap situation. They've got no draft picks. Now they have the talent there if those guys come back, but like even Stafford when he played this year just wasn't very good. Like, do I think Tom Brady will come back? I'll never say never, but I think Tom's done. I don't. I do not think Tom Brady will come back. Um, Yeah, the Rams are just. I get why people think they're a bounce back team. I do. And I think they could be, excuse me, I get why people think they're a sleeper team. I think they could be a bounce back team. They're well coached for sure. And if Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp are healthy, um, but in terms of just everything else, like they could definitely bounce back, but I wouldn't shock me if they just bottomed out as well either. They are a very high variance team. They could go one way or the other for sure. I don't know, Sam, are you talking to me about calling me a fan? Yeah, absolutely. Call me a fan of Seahawks, Mariners, Coyotes, and that's about it. I don't watch. I want a college ball. I'll definitely have a college bracket up if you guys are into March Madness. I'll definitely be doing a March Madness bracket for sure. Um, so let me know what you guys want to do on that. Maybe get a little pool going or something. That's always fun. Any other questions or anything? Anybody else want to talk about anything? Any other topics? Um, just stick to whatever you guys want. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Sam. Um, but yeah, any other questions, anything you guys have, just throw them out there. Feel weird going back to baseball now. I feel like we're on football. We got to stick with football. Um, yeah, I definitely think he's a fan. Do you mean like a fan of the Phillies, or what do you mean there, Sam? But yeah, he's definitely a fan. I will try to go live tomorrow. I don't think I'll be able to. I work all day and everything like that, so I'll try to do more lives. I'll try to do them like once or twice a week. Yeah, I'm not a big basketball fan. I love March Madness because I love the one and done. I love filling out a bracket. I could not name you one college basketball player right now though to save my life. So I'm a very casual fan. I don't watch the NBA until they bring my Sonics back. Other than that, and even before the Sonics left, I was kind of falling out of love with the NBA. It just, I don't know, just not really my sport anymore. I'm baseball and football primarily, but I'm always down to watch basketball. Someone wants to put on the NBA Finals, I won't say no, but I don't know enough about it to have live discussions about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I kind of turned on with the finals. It's all you always want to see who like wins the title in all the sports. Um, you're a Cubs fan, Christian? Right on, man. Right on. That's awesome. Um, you have a football team too. I'm assuming Cardinals because you're asking some Cardinals questions. Cubs made some moves this offseason. They're going to be better. Tough division with the Brewers and the and Cardinals. Well, back to watch baseball much, so I don't know what the Detroit Tigers record is. Oh, baseball hasn't even started yet. Avatar. Bears fan. Right on, man. Right on. Hey, first pick in the draft. You guys, my dad's a Bears fan too. Avatar's asking about the Detroit Tigers. Baseball hasn't started yet. We're getting into spring training. I think spring training starts this week, actually, at the end of it. So the Tigers do not have a record yet. In terms of what the project, you're good, man. No worries, no worries. I'm the same way with basketball and stuff. Like, oh, what's the record? So you're all good, man. I can tell you what. No, you're not dumb, man. Don't worry about it. You consider not a baseball guy, so no worries, man. I'm looking. I've got the Zips projection system here from Fangraphs up here, and the Tigers are projected by them to go 71-91. The Tigers, they got some rebuilding to do in Detroit for the Tigers. They've got some veteran pitchers, and they got Javi Baez there. They trade their closer Soto over to the Phillies. But they've got some young players like Torkelson, stuff like that. So they won't be a boring team, but they were definitely offense. Well, they might be because they're very offensively challenged last year, and that tends to make you more boring. Yeah, exactly. It is rude of them. I agree. But, that's, yeah, it might be a long year for the Tigers, but they've got some good young players. They're not without hope for the future. And they're in a division, with all that said, they're in a division that is just not that great. Even Cleveland, they're projected here to win 83 games and win the division. Minnesota's at 80, the White Sox 74. And again, this is just one projection system here. It doesn't mean anything necessarily. No, I think Miguel Cabrera is still there. It's a good question, Christian. I'm pretty sure he's still there, isn't he? Yeah, Miguel Cabrera is still on the team. Yeah, he was not very. I'm not gonna lie. When the Mariners played the Tigers, it's such a great career. I mean, I grew up with Miguel Cabrera, and boy, for years when the Mariners pitchers would have to face him, I'd be like covering my eyes, just like I don't want to watch this. He's so good. I'll get to that question just a second, Phillies fan. But now Cabrera's just a shell of himself. But I know he's going for a few records and stuff, so definitely one of my favorite players. Probably the Seahawks slightly more. I am more of a football fan. Now, part of that has been the fact that the Mariners have been so bad up until last year for so many years. Oh, that's right, the kicker one. I can't do the filter now, Sam, unfortunately, so I won't be able to do that now. But the Mariners were so bad for some years. Once September rolled around, there was no question that I was watching football. You know what I mean? Like, because in September the Mariners were like 65-92. So on Sundays football was on. It would probably depend on who's better. Like if the Seahawks are 0-3, 0-4, yeah, I'm watching the Mariners game in September. This year, like the Mariners had a chance. They'd beaten the Blue Jays in the wild card series. Had that series gone to 3 games, their game would have been on at the same time as the Seahawks, and I would have watched the Mariners game over the Seahawks for the playoffs. But overall, I'm probably more of a football fan than I am a baseball fan. What I love about baseball, which for me personally, is there's a game every night. Like random Tuesday night, you're bored, there's going to be baseball on. Even if it's like the Royals versus the Pirates, 2 teams that aren't very good, it's better than no baseball. So that's one thing I always love about baseball. Do I say I've not watched the XFL yet. For me with the XFL, it's so hard, and I don't mean this maliciously towards any of the players. I'll get to that Julio Rodriguez question too. It's an inferior product to the NFL. It's hard to watch, and it's not college where there's like the pageantry of a game at Oklahoma or a game at Texas. So it's tough for me to get into those leagues, but I will try and watch some XFL. Did Julio Rodriguez surprise me was the next question. No, but yes, like I'm always ready to be let down by any Mariners prospect for eternity. So from that aspect, yes, but in general, no. That's about the player I think Julio Rodriguez can be, and I think he can be, even better this year. Looking at Fangraphs, wins above replacement level projection, and Julio Rodriguez is projected to have the 3rd best WAR in baseball, I think, behind Trout and Juan Soto. So yeah, I get that. Oh, sorry guys, problem with going live. I start a massive coughing fit. Really professional. Oh gosh, Sam asked about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, give me a minute, guys. I'm going to come back. Be back in 1 minute. Just got to cough for a couple minutes. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't know what else to do but leave and go cough. The question say about Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers will be back for sure. Um, I just don't know where. Wouldn't shock me if he's back. Uh, wouldn't shock me if he's back in Green Bay, but at some point they're going to have to go to Jordan Love. I mean, his rookie contract's going to be over. Um, yeah, I like the Chiefs 38-35. I like that. I think the Jets makes a lot of sense for Aaron Rodgers. They're a team that's ready to win. They've got a really good surrounding roster. They are like that's another team I didn't talk about. We're talking about sleeper teams. That team is the definition of a quarterback away um, from being a contender. So the Jets make a lot of sense for me. Um, Avatar, I'm sure you meant the Super Bowl for next year. Way too early to make a prediction, in my opinion. We haven't even hit free agency yet. The draft. I can't like. I mean, if I had to go right now, I would be like, oh, Chiefs Eagles, because just in my head, they're the best two teams. Yeah, I did. I didn't I do your Aaron Rodgers question, Sam? Didn't I just talk about that? With in terms of you asked, will he come back? Go. I do not think he'll go to the Raiders. No, I think he'll come back, and my prediction is he goes to the Jets. Jets or Packers would be the two teams. But yeah, I can't make a Super Bowl prediction now. I just don't know. A team might fire sale. You normally don't get that in football, but some team could just trade away all their players and not go for it. So no, but I came back just now and I did talk about it just a minute ago. But yeah, for Aaron Rodgers, I would say Jets or Packers. I do not think he'll end up at the Raiders. But yeah, I can't make a prediction now. You're good, Sam. No worries, man. No worries. You don't need to retract the message. You're good, man. So yeah, but why not? I'll make a Super Bowl prediction. I'll get a little nuts here. Um, I will say Bengals and screw it. I'll say Seahawks, even though I don't really think that'll just to be fun. Good question here. Broncos would be better with Sean Payton. Do a top 10. I will do a mock draft. Avatar. I'm just waiting for free agency. I hate doing mock drafts before free agency because some of these teams will address their needs in free agency. Seattle, just as my team, is a good example. If they re-sign Geno Smith, probably not looking quarterback at 5. If they don't, that becomes a huge, huge option. Yeah, there are a lot of great questions. Really appreciate it. And then Christian, really good question. I like that one about the Broncos with Sean Payton. Yes, I actually do think the Broncos can bounce back. Their defense is really good, and their offensive line hopefully get healthy. They'll get Garrett Bowles back. They've got some good weapons. They are in a loaded. I'll get to the Eagles question in a second, Sam. They are in a loaded division, and that's Denver's biggest problem. You've got Kansas City, the Chargers, the Raiders. I don't know. They might take a step back now because Derek Carr's gone. Who knows what they are going to be um, um, doing with that? But I do think Sean Payton is a good offensive coach. I do think he will definitely help Russell Wilson. It's probably the best offensive mind that Russell Wilson has had as a coach in his career. But overall, I don't know. I like Russ kind of looked like a quarterback that was kind of done last year. I think he'll bounce back a little bit. Um, I like Denver as a definite like playoff team. Maybe I wouldn't shock me if they are in that tier. But now they don't have a first round pick because they traded for Sean Payton. So who knows? But I think they'll bounce back a little bit with Sean Payton in there, but not enough to justify the trade. The Eagles background, Sam, yeah, it's there. My wife's an Eagles fan, her family, for people that don't know. So I'm not really an Eagles fan per se. I did root for them in the Super Bowl. I'm still Seahawks all the way. But yeah, I like the Eagles logos. I like the bird. It looks cool. So anything else you guys got? Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Um, any other? Bring on any questions? Anything? Football, baseball. All right, hold on. Avatar. So many of years' experience as a Lions fan, I was screaming with joy the week of the season. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was such a fun game. Obviously, it meant a lot for me as a Seahawks fan, seeing that because that got them in the playoffs. But this Lions team is different, man. Dan Campbell's doing a real nice job there. I like Aaron Glenn as a DC. So that was a great win for you guys, man.
you could tell they wanted it. People, I was with people like, oh man, but with Seattle winning now, Detroit's not going to care because they're eliminated. I'm like, I don't know, not that team with Dan Campbell, man. That they play hard. Yeah, I agree, Christian. Good point with Sean Payton, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. He's dealt with similar quarterbacks before. So yeah, I do think that that's a really good fit for Russell Wilson. With that said, though, it's just going to be for Denver. Just got to play Patrick Mahomes twice, and then that conference is loaded too. You got Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence now, Justin Herbert. The Steelers are always tough. The Browns, now Deshaun Watson's there for a full season. So the Jets, if they get Aaron Rodgers, so it's going to be tough. Someone asked a question. I didn't see it. Let me see if I can pop that back up there. Um, who's my number one QB in the draft? I'll be honest. I don't watch a ton of college football, so I really haven't started watching it. Probably Bryce Young from what I've seen and what I've looked at. Oh, and the other question: where do I think C.J. Stroud's going to go? I really don't know. I am not a college football expert at all. I'll start getting into a little bit more here as we get closer to the draft and free agency hits, like I said. But I just don't get a chance to watch a lot of college ball. But I'd say Bryce Young is the one that I would probably like if I had to give one of these quarterbacks to Seattle. But I'm never against any of them. Like there's all sorts of guys that come up and make impacts. Like Josh Allen was viewed as not having played good competition at Wyoming, and his completion percentage wasn't all that high. And look what the Bills coaching staff did with him. Patrick Mahomes, even like he went middle of the first round. So there were teams that passed on him. Christian, I'm sure you don't want to be reminded of that, but the Bears, took Mitch Trubisky. So you never know. I'm not against. I know you're a Tigers fan, Avatar. I think I will go live for the draft. I might try and get with a couple other people and do a joint live stream for that as well. I definitely want to do a reaction video to Seattle's pick. But so in terms of my favorite, like I said, probably Bryce Young, but I'm not against any of these guys. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, Christian. I didn't mean to. The Bears are just such a good example sometimes for those things, but hopefully Justin Fields is the guy. When is the NFL draft? I'd have to look that up. It's usually in April. I don't know the exact dates. I know it's in Kansas City this year. So a cold NFL draft. Let me see. I'll type it in and figure it out. NFL draft. It just came up. And then it went away. NFL draft. See. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in April. It's definitely in April. I don't know the exact dates. Um, April 27th through April 29th. And like I said, it's in Kansas City, so it might be a cold NFL draft for some people. Yeah, it's April 27th, so it's right in that range there. Thursday night, April 27th, and it runs through Saturday, April 29th. If you guys have any more questions, I'll probably end up closing it up here in a couple minutes, unless you guys had anything else you want to talk about. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Thanks for everybody that's hung out. It's been actually really fun dishing and talking to you guys. But yeah, let me know if you guys have anything else you want to discuss, anything else you want to go over. Oh, nice. Happy early. April 14th is mine, so we're both in April. That's awesome. Hopefully the Lions will give you a nice present. Lions got 2 first-round picks too. They got the Stafford pick in their own. Yes, I think Drew Lock is bad. Sam, I know some people are like, ooh, look what they did with Geno. Drew Lock is just a turnover machine. Seattle would have been. Yeah, thanks, Christian. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. Anytime. Happy to do it. Hey, a lot of April birthdays in here. That's awesome. Maybe that's why we've all come together in here. But yeah, Sam, I think Drew Lock is bad. He's young enough that like there's some potential that, like I'm all for him being in that trade and seeing what you could get. But he is just a turnover machine. Seattle would not have made the playoffs, in my opinion, with Drew Lock as their quarterback this year. I think the team would have been pretty bad. Pretty bad. I think they would have maybe beaten, I don't know, like maybe the Jets in the all good, Avatar. We may be done by then, but if not, man, all good, whatever you want to do. Thanks for coming in, man. October, my whole family, Sam's like October birthday, so you'd fit in with them. So you're good. It's October and April in my house, so you're good. Yeah, I thought Geno Smith was good. he was good. I thought in the first half of the year, and I think Phillies fan made that point too. I thought he was an MVP candidate in the first half of the season. In the second half, I thought he was more average with good moments. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't bad by any means, but he definitely wasn't MVP in the second half. I think this is my point. I'll say this about Geno Smith. Yeah, take it easy, man. Philly fan, thanks for coming in. We're going to wrap it up here in a few seconds, anyways. Thanks for stopping in, man. I did think Geno would win the job before the season. If you go back in my Twitter, I said I think Geno Smith would beat out Drew Lock. I didn't necessarily think Geno would be good. I thought I had the Seahawks winning 6 games. I thought Geno would be one of those guys that like how do I word it? As a stopgap, like he'd maybe get a 1-year deal somewhere else after the year. And I thought for sure Seattle would be looking to draft a quarterback. I didn't think he'd be awful, but I didn't think he'd be good enough that you'd want to be debating giving him $30 million a year. But kudos to him. He had a really good season. I think Geno's definitely proven he deserves to be a starter in this league. Nice, man. You were spot on. You were spot on with 9. I like the optimism, man. There was definitely a lot of negativity about the Seahawks and a lot of jokes being made. So it was kind of nice to be able to rub it in some people's faces. And the fact that Denver ended up with a worse record was definitely pretty hilarious. I'm not going to lie. As someone that was slightly salty, it was definitely good to see that. But I did not have Seattle winning. I had them at 6. I had them at 6-11. I think I had them beating Atlanta, Carolina, who they did not beat either of those 2 teams. I think I had them beating the Jets, the Giants, like 2 division games or something like that, because you usually win 1 or 2 of those. That's about where I had the Seahawks this season. For anybody that's popping in new, we got 7 people in here. I know it's supposed to be a Mariners chit chat. If you want to ask Mariners questions, fire them away. We just kind of hanging out, been talking football. Essentially, haven't gotten into much baseball. So whatever you guys want to talk about, if anybody new here has questions, don't be shy. Don't hesitate. Probably about in about 5-10 minutes, maybe just fire some questions away. I've just been kind of going off what you guys are talking about. So I know we got 7 people in here. Now, Sam, appreciate all you've contributed. Phillies fan, Christian, Avatar. But if anybody else wants to chime in with something, go for it. Let me know. So if not, I'll probably close it up here in a minute or 2. So I don't know if some people are in here for the Mariners chat. But like I said, if anybody has any more questions, just fire them on over. If you guys are good, I will probably go ahead. I'll give another minute. Anybody's thinking of something here. I feel weird I wanted to transition to baseball, but kind of weird to go into baseball here now. I am very excited, though, for baseball season. I will have a lot of live streams up for Mariners games this year. You're good, man. Nothing to be sorry about. No, you're fine. You're good, man. If you got no more questions, all good, man. I really appreciate you being here and helping out. It's actually helps me to talk when I have people asking me questions and stuff. So, but yeah, really excited for Mariners season start. I'll be live for a bunch of games. I'll be calling them, doing my best to do that, and kind of, I'll have some post-game recaps as well. So if you guys are baseball fans, stop on in for that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I will see you guys next time. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. Really, really appreciate it. I know it's supposed to be baseball, but you know what? I had a great time talking football. It was really awesome. So I have no problem. No, nothing to be sorry about. I'll talk football 24/7. I'll talk baseball 24/7. So nothing to be sorry about with it being mostly football. It was fun. Hey, welcome back, Avatar. I'm actually going to be closing it up here, but thanks, man. No, you're good, man. Thanks. I really appreciate you bringing the questions and coming in and hanging out, man. So truly, truly appreciate it. I'm going to let you guys go. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Stop on in. We'll do more of these for sure. And I'll try and actually do them with my the actual live I said I was going to do, and not the one that I end up having to do. So take it easy, guys. Have a good one. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.